I never thought I'd burn my mother-in-law's world to the ground with a single click, but there I was, finger hovering over send, heart pounding like I'd just pulled the pin on a grenade. The photos stared back at me, irrefutable proof of Evelyn's web of lies, each one a dagger she'd twisted into my husband's back for decades. And in that moment, as the email drafted itself to every family member, every friend, every goddamn colleague she'd ever charmed, I whispered to the empty kitchen, "Happy birthday to us, you bitch." It started with a cake, of all things. Not just any cake, my husband's 35th birthday cake, the one I'd slaved over for hours, vanilla sponge with buttercream roses, his favorite since he was a kid. I'd set it on the counter that afternoon, the house buzzing with the low hum of anticipation. Our daughter, Lily, 6 years old and all gap-toothed grins, had helped me pipe the "Happy Birthday, Daddy" in shaky blue icing. Jack was due home any minute from his shift at the firehouse, his broad shoulders filling the doorway like they always did, that easy smile cutting through the exhaustion. It was supposed to be perfect, simple, American as apple pie and fireworks on the 4th. But Evelyn arrived early, uninvited as usual, her perfume announcing her like a storm warning. Chanel No. 5, cloying and invasive. She swept into the kitchen in her tailored pantsuit, pearls gleaming like weapons, and eyed the cake with that pursed-lipped disapproval she reserved for anything not stamped with her seal of wasp perfection. "Abigail, dear," she cooed, voice dripping honey over venom. "That's quaint. But Jack deserves better than homemade amateur hour." Before I could snap back, she was already rummaging in her oversized tote, pulling out a bakery box from that overpriced patisserie in Greenwich. "I brought the real thing. From Paris, imported. He'll thank me." I bit my tongue, because that's what you do in this family, swallow the barbs until they fester. Jack's mom had been lording over us since the day we said, "I do," in that stuffy Connecticut chapel, her silver spoon still lodged firmly in her throat. Evelyn Hargrove, née Vanderbilt offshoot, widow of a Wall Street shark who left her enough to play benevolent dictator over her only son. Jack was her golden boy, her miracle after years of fertility struggles, and I'd always known she saw me as the interloper, the tattooed bartender from Queens who snagged her prince with a smile and a six-pack. But I loved him fierce, the way he loved his beat-up Ford truck and Sunday barbecues with the guys. We were real, messy, alive. She didn't smash the cake, not outright, just accidentally knocked it off the counter while helping with the plates, her elbow a precise instrument of sabotage. It hit the tile in slow motion, frosting exploding like a gut punch, roses smearing into abstract ruin. Lily gasped, her little hands flying to her mouth, and Evelyn turned with theatrical horror. "Oh, Abigail, how clumsy of me. But look, my cake is here. No harm done." She slid the bakery box forward like a chess queen claiming the board, her eyes daring me to call her out. Jack walked in then, helmet under his arm, smelling of smoke and sweat, and the room shifted. He laughed it off. Always did. My Jack, the peacemaker wired into his firefighter's code. Hugged his mom, kissed Lily's head, pecked my cheek with that "we'll fix it later" murmur. We sang off-key around Evelyn's pristine confection, the one with gold leaf and a price tag that could cover our mortgage. But as the candles flickered out, I caught it. The way Evelyn's gaze lingered on Jack, possessive, almost hungry. And that's when the first crack appeared. Not in the cake, but in me. Later that night, after she'd finally left with air kisses and promises of brunch soon, I scraped the ruined mess into the trash, Lily asleep upstairs, Jack cracking open a beer on the porch. "Babe, it's fine," he said, pulling me onto his lap, his calloused hands warm on my thighs. "Mom's just Mom. Always has been." I wanted to believe him, to let it slide like the 100 other slights. The passive-aggressive texts about my career choices, the gifts for Lily that screamed upper-crust conformity. But as I scrolled through my phone, deleting voicemails from old friends back in the city, something glinted in the dim light. A forgotten photo album app, one I'd synced years ago from Jack's old laptop. Curiosity, or maybe fate, made me tap it open. There they were. Not the birthday shots, but relics from a life before me. Jack as a teen, gangly and awkward, arms slung around a girl who wasn't his sister. Evelyn in the background, beaming like she'd orchestrated the whole scene. And then, deeper in, letters, scanned and tucked away. Faded ink on linen paper, Evelyn's elegant script confessing to Jack's high school principal about that wild girl who'd been leading him astray. The one who'd mysteriously transferred schools after the accident. My stomach twisted. What accident? I didn't sleep that night. Jack snored softly beside me, oblivious, while I lay there piecing it together like a detective in one of those gritty Netflix thrillers we binged on date nights. By dawn, I'd driven to the public library in town, small-town Connecticut, where secrets moldered in microfiche like forgotten scandals. It took hours, but I found it. The police blotter from 2007. A car crash on Route 7, late night, underage driver. Jack's truck, totaled. The other car? A beat-up Honda with a girl named Sarah Klein behind the wheel. She walked away with scratches. Jack got a concussion and a lifetime of what-ifs. But the report was clean, no charges. Too clean. Evelyn's number was in my contacts, of course. I called her at 8 a.m. sharp, voice steady as rebar. We need to talk. About Sarah. Silence on the line, then that laugh. Light, dismissive, like I'd asked about the weather. Abigail, darling, whatever do you mean? Jack's old flames are ancient history. But I heard the hitch, the calculation. She agreed to meet at her club, the one with the mahogany bar and golf memberships that cost more than my wedding dress. The Ivy League country club smelled of old money and regret, polished wood and leather armchairs where deals were whispered and daughters-in-law dismissed. Evelyn sat at a corner table, iced tea sweating in a highball, her smile a blade sheathed in silk. You've been digging, haven't you? She said, not waiting for pleasantries. No denial, just that arch of the brow, like I'd caught her with a parking ticket. Tell me about the crash. I slid the printout across the linen tablecloth, the yellowed paper stark against the crisp white. She sighed, theatrical, fanning herself with a menu. Oh, that. Ancient history, as I said. Sarah was troubled. A phase Jack went through. I handled it, like she was discussing dry cleaning. You covered it up, paid off the Kleins to keep quiet, made Jack think he was the screw-up who almost killed her. Her eyes narrowed, just a fraction, the viper sizing up the mouse. Jack was my baby, 16, full of hormones and bad decisions. That girl was dragging him down. Parties, pot, God knows what else. I did what any mother would. Protected him. At what cost? My voice cracked, but I held her gaze. Sarah's family? They lost everything. Her dad worked 2 jobs after the medical bills. She dropped out, moved away. And Jack? You let him carry the guilt. Told him it was his fault for drinking that night, even though the talk screen said otherwise. Evelyn leaned forward, voice dropping to that conspiratorial purr she used on boardroom suckers. Guilt builds character, Abigail. It made him the man he is, strong, responsible. A firefighter, for heaven's sake, not some trust fund slacker. And you? You'd still be slinging drinks in some dive if I hadn't smoothed the edges off him. The words landed like slaps, each one echoing the undercurrent of our marriage, the way she'd helped with job interviews, the suggestions for my wardrobe. But this was deeper, a rot at the core. She'd sacrificed Sarah's future to preserve Jack's myth, buried the truth under layers of privilege and plausible deniability. And Jack? He'd borne it all, thinking he was the villain, proposing to me on one knee with that same haunted look in his eyes. I left the club with my head high, but inside, the fury brewed. Not just at her, for the lies, the manipulation, but at myself, for not seeing it sooner. That night, as Jack grilled burgers in the backyard, grease popping like gunfire, I watched him laugh with Lily, tossing her in the air, and vowed silently, no more. Evelyn's empire of deceit ended with me. But revenge isn't a light switch. It's a slow burn, American-style, methodical, media-savvy, with a dash of viral schadenfreude. I started small. Anonymous tips to the local paper, that sleepy rag in Stamford that loved a good Society Whispers column. Evelyn Hargrove's charitable donations. Where does the money really go? I'd uncovered her foundation, a tax shelter masquerading as philanthropy, funneling cash to her cronies while the food bank in Bridgeport starved. Nothing illegal, but shady enough to raise eyebrows. She called the next day, voice ice over the line. Abigail, this pettiness doesn't suit you. Think of Jack. The family. As if family meant her bloodline, not the one we'd built with calluses and compromise. Family, I echoed, cradling the phone against my shoulder while folding Lily's laundry. Like how you treated Sarah's. Or the way you protected Jack by gaslighting him for 17 years. A pause, then the pivot, her specialty. You're hysterical. Postpartum nonsense, probably. Come over for tea. We'll sort this. I hung up, but the seed was planted. I dug deeper, nights blurring into dawn as Jack slept, my laptop glowing like a confessional. Old emails from Jack's college days, forwarded by a sympathetic aunt who'd always hated Evelyn's grip. Photos from Sarah's social media, sporadic posts from a trailer park in Ohio, her smiling through gritted teeth at a waitressing gig, captions laced with bitterness. I reached out, cautious, through a burner account. I know what happened. I'm sorry. Can we talk? Her reply came at 2 a.m. Who the hell is this? We met in a diner off I-95, neutral ground, fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets. Sarah was harder edged than the girl in the photos, tattoos snaking up her arms, hair dyed electric blue, a cigarette perpetually between her fingers. But her eyes, when they met mine, were the same, wounded, wary. You his wife? She asked, sliding into the booth without preamble. Yeah, Abigail. I pushed a coffee her way, black, no sugar, guessed from her vibe. She snorted, lighting up despite the no-smoking sign. Lucky you. Jack was always too good for this shit show. Then the story poured out, unfiltered. Evelyn's visit to their trailer the week after the crash, checkbook in hand, lawyer in tow. Take this, and the story changes. Jack was drunk. You were speeding. We bury it, or we sue. Sarah's dad, drowning in ER bills, cashed the check. Sarah transferred to a crap school across state lines, her dreams of art school evaporating like morning fog. I hated him for years, she admitted, ash flicking onto the formica. Thought he ratted me out. But then I saw the obit for his dad. Heart attack, stress from the accident. Figured Evelyn played us both. We talked for hours, the diner emptying around us, truckers nursing refills. By the end, I had her permission and her number. Do what you gotta, she said, standing. Just make it hurt. Back home, the plan crystallized. Not a scream in the night, but a public unmasking. Photos, documents, timelines, all wrapped in a bow for the court of public opinion. Evelyn's world was social media and society pages. I'd drag her into the mud of Reddit threads and TikTok exposés. But first, I needed the crown jewels, proof from her own mouth. I baited the trap with an olive branch. Jack's birthday was ruined. Truce, dinner at your place. She bit. Of course, couldn't resist the stage. Her Tudor mansion in Darien was a monument to excess. Crystal chandeliers, abstract art that cost more than my house, a wine cellar stocked with vintages older than the Republic. Jack was thrilled, clueless as ever. Babe, this is great. Mom's been off lately. Maybe it's water under the bridge. Dinner was a masterclass in passive aggression. Evelyn praising the caterer, so much better than takeout, Abigail. Quizzing Lily on private school prospects. Public is fine for now, dear, but think ahead. I played along, smiling through gritted teeth, slipping my phone under the table to record. And then, post-dessert, in the drawing room with its velvet settees and roaring fire, I struck. Remember Sarah? I said casually, swirling my Merlot. Jack frowned, mid-sip of scotch. Evelyn froze, just for a beat. Who? She lied smoothly, but I was ready. Pulled out my phone, the crash report glowing on the screen. The girl you erased. For Jack. His face drained of color, glass clinking against the side table. Abby what? Evelyn paid them off. I cut in, voice steady. Told you it was your fault. Let you carry the guilt so you'd stay her perfect boy. The room tilted. Evelyn's mask cracked. First a flush, then the hiss. You little ingrate. After everything I've done. Done. Jack echoed, standing, chair scraping like nails on chalkboard. Mom? Is this true? She rounded on him, eyes blazing, the schemer unmasked. I saved you, Jack. That slut would have ruined you. Drunk driving, scandals. I made the calls, yes, but for you. Always for you. He staggered back, hand to his chest like he'd been shot. Lily whimpered from the corner, where she'd been coloring, and I swept her up, murmuring soothe words while the storm raged. Evelyn didn't stop. Oh no, she doubled down, voice rising in that Connecticut clip. And her? Abigail? She's poisoned, Jack. Working you like a dog at that firehouse while she plays house. I could have set you up at the firm, but no, you chose this. This mediocrity. It was the flip I'd been waiting for, the antagonist's true face, all maw and no mercy. Jack's eyes met mine, shattered glass reflecting firelight, and in that look, I saw the betrayal cut deepest. Not just hers, but the years we'd lost to her shadow. "Get out," he whispered, then louder. "Get the fuck out of our lives." She laughed, manic, unhinged. "You'll regret this. Both of you. I made you, Jack. Without me." But he was already turning away, phone in hand, dialing her driver. I held Lily tight, heart thundering, as Evelyn stormed out, slamming the oak door like thunder. That was the spark. The next morning, with Jack catatonic on the couch, nursing black coffee in silence, I compiled the dossier. Photos, the crash site reconstruction from public records, Sarah's before and after, prom queen to parole officer. Emails, Evelyn's to the lawyer, cold calculations in Comic Sans. Audio, last night's tirade, her voice snarling, slut, and poison for posterity. I attached it all to an email blast. Family group chat first, then her bridge club, her charity board, even the local PDA she'd infiltrated to help with Lily's school. Subject, the truth Evelyn Hargrove buried, and the sun she broke. I hit send at noon, as Jack and I sat at the kitchen table, his hand in mine, knuckles white. "You sure?" he rasped, voice raw. "No," I admitted. "But it's done." The backlash was biblical. Phones exploded, cousins texting WTF, aunts calling with gasps. By evening, it hit the Stanford Advocate. Heiress accused of covering up teen crash for son. Evelyn's Facebook froze under the onslaught, friends unfriending like rats from a sinking ship. She fired back, of course, a tearful video on Instagram, makeup flawless, spinning victimhood, slandered by a troubled daughter-in-law. Pray for my family. But the photos didn't lie. Sarah went live on TikTok, her story raw and riveting, racking up millions of views. Evelyn Exposed trended in Connecticut, then nationally, late-night hosts cracking jokes about mommy dearest's dark side. Evelyn lawyered up, cease and desist flying like confetti, but the internet doesn't forget. Jack and I hunkered down, the house a bunker of takeout and therapy apps. Lily asked questions, why's grandma mad? And we answered soft, age-appropriate lies, the irony not lost on me. But in the quiet hours, as Jack traced the scar on his temple from the crash, he'd pull me close and murmur, "You saved me, Abs." From her. From myself. Was it revenge? Hell yes. Sweet, scorching, the kind that leaves scars on both sides. Evelyn's world crumbled, board seats resigned, invitations revoked, her tutor echoing with ghosts. She moved to Florida, or so the gossip said, chasing sun and denial. Jack quit the firehouse for a desk job at a nonprofit. Ironic, helping crash victims. And we started fresh, therapy twice a week, date nights at dive bars where the beer was cheap and the stories ours. But here's the twist, the one that keeps me up some nights, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. Sarah reached out again, months later. Not for closure, but for more. Turns out, Evelyn's payoff check had strings, NDAs with teeth, and now, with the exposure, Sarah's dad was suing for fraud. "We can bury her for good," Sarah said over coffee, eyes gleaming not with justice, but hunger. "But it'll cost. Witnesses. Experts. You in." Jack didn't know. I hadn't told him. Part of me wanted to drag it all into the light. But another part, the one that remembered Evelyn's hiss, "I made you," wondered if I was becoming her. Scheming in shadows, flipping faces for the win. The lawsuit would destroy what's left of her, but at what price to us? Lily's innocence, Jack's fragile peace? I haven't decided yet. The email sits drafted, cursor blinking like a dare. Send, and it's war. Delete, and it's mercy or cowardice. In America, land of the free and home of the litigious, who's to say? Maybe that's the real revenge. Living with the choice, the controversy churning like bad bourbon in your gut. Because in the end, no one's clean. Not her. Not me. Not even the boy we both tried to save. The fallout from that email didn't just ripple. It tsunamied through our lives, dragging up muck we never knew was there. Jack and I thought we'd hit rock bottom that birthday night. But nah. America loves a spectacle, and we were the main event in Evelyn's Coliseum of canceled. By week 2, the Evelyn Exposed hashtag had spawned memes. Evelyn photoshopped as a Bond villain, clutching a checkbook labeled Mommy's Little Cover-Up. Late-night TikToks dissected her society page smiles, overlaying them with Sarah's tear-streaked testimony. Golden Girl or Gilded Cage? One viral thread asked, polls splitting viewers down the middle, half cheering the takedown, half decrying family betrayal. Jack withdrew, holing up in the garage tinkering with his old Harley, the one he bought on impulse after a rough call. I need space, abs, he'd say, grease-streaked and distant, eyes avoiding mine. I got it. His whole origin story rewritten, the hero turned patsy. Therapy helped, sorta. Dr. Ramirez in her cozy Norwalk office, with the ficus and the Kleenex box, coaxing out the rage. She made me feel like I owed her my soul. Jack confessed one session I sat in on, fists clenched on his knees. Every promotion, every good job, son, it was all tainted now. I nodded, holding his hand, but inside, a storm of my own. Guilt gnawed at me, not for exposing her, never that, but for the collateral. Lily came home from school with crayon drawings of sad families, her teacher pulling me aside for a hushed, everything okay at home? And Evelyn. Radio silence at first, then the barbs via proxy. Her sister, Aunt Margot, calling to plead for reconciliation. She's devastated, Abigail. Heartbroken. This isn't you, isn't it? I shot back, pacing the kitchen while Jack napped upstairs. Or is it the first honest thing I've done in years? Margot sighed, that long-suffering exhale of old money endurance. Evelyn's not perfect, but blood. Blood doesn't buy silence, I interrupted, or crash the future of a 17-year-old girl. Click. She hung up, and I felt the fracture widen. But Sarah? She was my anchor in the chaos, texting updates from her Ohio duplex. Lawsuit papers filed, discovery phase underway. Your audio's gold, she wrote one night. Attachment a transcript of Evelyn's rant. She's squirming. Depositions next month. Want in? I did. God, I did. The thought of Evelyn under oath, pearls choking her as lawyers peeled back the lies. It fueled me like black coffee at 3 a.m. But Jack, telling him meant ripping open the wound fresh. So I compartmentalized American efficiency, days for mom mode, packing lunches with notes, you're my hero, kiddo, nights for sleuthing, cross-referencing Evelyn's donor list with IRS filings on my ancient MacBook. Then came the counterattack. Subtle at first, a concerned post on Nextdoor from a neighbor. Beware of false accusations in our community. Some people will do anything for attention. Attached, a blurred photo of me at the diner with Sarah, time-stamped like evidence. My blood ran cold. Evelyn's reach, still tentacles in the shadows. Jack found out via the Firehouse group chat, teasing at first, your wife's gone rogue, bro, then prying. He confronted me that evening, standing in the doorway to the den, arms crossed over his FDNYT. What's this about a lawsuit? And you meeting that woman, Sarah, behind my back? I froze, cursor mid-highlight on a bank statement. Jackets. Don't. His voice cracked, not anger, but hurt, raw, boyish. I thought we were in this together. You drop the bomb, then go nuclear without me? What am I collateral to? The word stung, because yeah, maybe. I'd been so laser-focused on the win, the vindication, that I'd sidelined him. We argued. Ugly, voices echoing off the suburban siding, Lily's door creaking open upstairs. She destroyed you. I yelled, tears hot. I can't let her walk away unscathed. And what about us? He fired back, stepping close, his breath beery from the six-pack he'd cracked earlier. This revenge, it's eating you alive, abs. I see it in your eyes. You're becoming her, calculating, cold. The slap of truth. I recoiled, sinking onto the couch, head in hands. He softened then, kneeling, his firefighter's bulk folding gentle. I love you. For fighting for me. But this. It's poison. Let the lawyers handle it. For Lily. For us. We made love that night, desperate and reclaiming, bodies tangled like we'd forget in the sweat. But the seed of doubt sprouted. Was I fighting her, or fighting to fill the void she'd left in him? The next day, I texted Sarah, pausing involvement. Jack needs time. Her reply, your call. But don't ghost, Evelyn's playing dirty. Found this. Attached, a scan of a letter, Evelyn's script to a PI firm. Dig up dirt on Abigail Reynolds. Anything. Affairs, debts, you name it. Chills. She'd flipped again, from victim to viper, hiring mercenaries to unearth my skeletons. Queens wasn't clean. A bar fight I'd broken up gone viral local, An ex with sticky fingers who dragged my name through tabloids. Nothing criminal, but smear-worthy in her hands. Panic set in, the tense kind that has you double-checking locks and sleeping with one eye open. I ramped up my own defenses, Googling defamation laws, consulting a pro bono attorney from a women's shelter network. She's got resources, the lawyer warned over Zoom, her Brooklyn accent thick as bagels. But truth is your shield. Stick to facts. Facts. That's what I clung to when the first leak hit. An anonymous email to Jack's new boss at the nonprofit. Forward. Unstable employee's wife. Attached. That diner photo, captioned conspiring against family. Jack got called in, sat through an HR grilling that left him shaking. They asked if you were dangerous, he told me later, face ashen. Because of the obsession with my mom. I wanted to scream, to drive to Florida and confront her in whatever gated condo she'd slunk to. Instead, I channeled it, a second wave of exposure. This time, not blast email, but curated, pitched to a true crime podcaster with 1 million downloads, family secrets, the crash that built an empire. I fed them everything, timelines, tapes, Sarah's affidavit. They bit hard. Recording session in a Manhattan studio, my voice steady under the mics, Jack's permission grudgingly given. The episode dropped like a bomb. Echoes of betrayal, how one mother's lie shaped a life. Listeners flooded in, calls pouring, support hotlines for gaslighting survivors, offers from producers for a docuseries. Evelyn's response. A countersuit, filed in Stanford Superior, defamation, emotional distress, the works. Her lawyer, a shark from her late husband's firm, deposed me first, frosty conference room, stenographer clicking like a metronome. Ms. Reynolds, he drawled, adjusting cufflinks. You admit to distributing private family communications without consent. Admit. I leaned forward, meeting his gaze. Those communications were Evelyn admitting to felony cover-up. Call it journalism. He smirked. And your motive? Revenge for a spilled cake? The room chuckled, his associates, Evelyn's proxy army. But I didn't flinch. Motive? Protecting my husband from a lifetime of manipulation. And yeah, that cake was the last straw. But the crash? That's the avalanche. Deposition dragged, hours of gotchas and denials, but I walked out unbowed, fueled by the fire in my veins. Jack waited in the hall, takeout tie in hand, his peace offering. Proud of you, he murmured, kissing my temple. But after this, we done? For real? I nodded, throat tight. Done with the war, maybe. But the battle lines blurred when Sarah called, voice urgent. Deposition transcripts leaked. Evelyn's twisting it. Says you coerced me, that I'm your paid witness. We got a countersue now, or she walks. The dilemma clawed. Pull back, preserve the fragile peace Jack craved, or push, risk everything for the knockout? Nights blurred into what-ifs. Me pacing the kitchen at 4 a.m., coffee cold, staring at the ruined cake spot on the tile. Faint stain, stubborn ghost. Then the twist hit, the one that split me wide. A package arrived, unmarked, brown paper wrapped tight. Inside, a USB drive and a note in Evelyn's hand. Watch, then decide. Trembling, I plugged it in. Home video, grainy camcorder footage from '07. The crash site, wreckage steaming in dawn light, cops milling. Then Evelyn, younger, hair teased high, arguing with a uniform. Audio faint but clear. My son was fine. That girl, driving erratic. You have my statement. Cut to hospital waiting room. Her on the phone. Yes, the check's en route. Make it disappear. But the real gut punch. Next file, my voice. From our wedding toast, 5 years back. To Evelyn, the mother I never had. Thank you for Jack. Followed by her reply, slurred from champagne. Darling, you're family now. But remember, blood's thicker. It was olive branch and threat, her way of saying, you were warned. But buried in the files, an audio clip, time-stamped last week, heard to her lawyer, push harder on the kid. Lily's school records, find leverage there. Leverage. On my daughter. The line crossed, the one you don't uncross. Fury, pure and volcanic, erased doubt. I forwarded it all to Sarah, to the podcaster, to the judge via my attorney. Full steam. I texted Jack from the car, en route to the deposition. She's targeting Lily. His reply, what? Jesus. Do it. The courtroom climax was pure theater, dark, tense. The the kind of drama that makes you question heroes and villains. Stanford's superior, wood-paneled and echoing, packed with reporters and rubberneckers. Evelyn took the stand first, composed in Chanel, voice quavering just right. I only wanted to protect my son. Abigail's vendetta. It's destroyed us. The jury leaned in, some nodding. Moms get the sympathy vote. Then Sarah, electric blue hair tamed into a bun. Testimony unflinching. She bought my silence, but not my soul. Gasps rippled as the crash audio played. Evelyn's younger self bargaining like a fixer. My turn. The stand creaked under me, lights hot, but I locked eyes with her across the room. You call it protection. I call it theft, stealing Jack's truth, Sarah's future, my peace. I played the PI audio, her voice tinny but damning. The kid. Leverage. Jury murmurs swelled. Evelyn's face cracked. Real tears this time, or great acting. Her lawyer objected. Prejudicial, but the judge waved it off. Then the flip. Cross-exam. Her attorney grilling me on the cake. Petty grudge, Ms. Reynolds? Over dessert. I smiled cold. No. Over a lifetime of control. The cake was just the fork that broke the camel's back. Laughter tittered, tension breaker. But the real controversy? Jack's testimony, reluctant, raw. Mom, I loved you. But you lied. For years. And now, threatening my daughter? That's not protection. That's poison. She sobbed then, hand to mouth, the room hanging on her collapse. Sympathy shifted, jurors whispering, monster or desperate mom. No clear sides. That's the gut punch, the moral quagmire that leaves you arguing at barbecues. Verdict dropped after 2 days. Countersuit won. Evelyn liable for fraud, restitution to the clients, $500,000 plus punitive. Her empire? Auctioned off, tutors sold to a flipper. She vanished to Palm Beach, whispers of a breakdown, or reinvention as a tell-all author. We got nothing monetary, just the win, bittersweet. Jack and I rebuilt. Family therapy, a road trip to Yellowstone in that old Ford, Lily spotting bison with wide eyes. But the twist lingers, the debate fodder. Was justice served, or did I create a monster in her image? Sarah cashed her check, moved to California for art school, late bloom. Calls me sister now, but I wonder, if Evelyn hadn't targeted Lily, would I have stopped? Some nights, scrolling old photos, the cake ruin, the deposition glare. I feel it, the dark underbelly of revenge. It frees, but it scars. In America, where grudges go viral and truth costs blood, maybe that's the real hook. Who's the villain? Depends on whose feed you're on. Months blurred into a fragile normalcy, the kind you tiptoe around like cracked ice. Jack threw himself into the nonprofit gig, Victim Aid Network, ironic poetry, coordinating support for crash survivors. His testimony lending street cred to the cause, helping others unbury their shit. He'd quip over dinner, forks spearing broccoli, but his eyes held shadows, the weight of what Evelyn's lies had cost. Lily thrived, oblivious in her bubble of second-grade chaos, friendship bracelets and recess tag, her laughter the glue holding our patchwork together. Me? I quit the part-time gig at the bookstore. Too many whispers, sidelong glances from Greenwich moms who'd once pretended to like my edgy book recs. Instead, I started a blog. Unmasked, stories of hidden betrayals. Anonymous at first, then bold, byline Abigail Reynolds Hargrove, reclaiming the name like a battle flag. Posts poured out. The crash's ripple effects, gaslighting checklists, reader submissions of their own Evelyns. It monetized quick, sponsors for therapy apps, Patreon for survivor suppers, meetups in dive bars. Jack teased me gentle, from bartender to badass. Who knew? But normalcy's a lie we tell ourselves, and Evelyn's ghost haunted the margins. Junk mail forwarded from her old address. Charity invites she'd never see. A Christmas card from Margot with a terse healing inside. Then the dreams, recurring, you am. Her in the courtroom, face melting like dolly clocks, mouthing, you did this, as the gavel fell. I'd wake gasping, Jack's arm heavy across me, and wonder if victory tasted this hollow for everyone. Sarah checked in sporadic, her Cali glow filtering through texts. Enrolled at Otis. Your audio got me a scholarship, voice of resilience. Photos of her sketches, raw, urban, crashing cars morphing into phoenixes. We video called once, her dorm messy with canvases, voice bubbly but edged. Heard Evelyn's writing a book. The Other Side of Truth or some bullshit. You read it. I laughed, bitter. When Hell Freezes. What's the angle? Victim memoir. Worse. Redemption arc. I was wrong, but love drove me. Sarah rolled her eyes, lighting a joint off-screen. Fans already. Pity party for Park Avenue witches. Chills. Evelyn, flipping again, from Pariah to Phoenix. I searched. Yep, Amazon pre-order. Cover her in soft focus, Pearls Askew. Blurb. A mother's desperate choices, and the daughter-in-law who tore a family apart. My gut twisted. Controversy bait, pure. Readers would devour it. Debate clubs dissecting who was right. Over Chardonnay. Jack caught me fuming over the laptop, cursor on one-click buy. Don't, he said, rubbing my shoulders, thumbs digging knots. Her words, not ours. We're good. But were we? The lawsuit payout hit our account. Earmarked for Lily's college, Jack insisted, but with it came taxes, audits, the IRS sniffing for gifts from the settlement. And Evelyn's book? It launched with a bang, hitting NYT list on scandal fumes. Reviews split savage. Brave confession versus tone-deaf drivel. Then the invite. Her publicist emailing. Exclusive excerpt. Your comment? I forwarded to Jack, who snorted. Tell him to fuck off. I did, politely. No thanks. Truth doesn't need spin. But the seed itched. Counter with my book? A real tell-all. Facts over fiction? Summer hit humid and relentless. Our backyard barbecue's a ritual of reclaiming. 4th of July, neighbors over. Beers cracking, ribs smoking on the Weber, Lily waving sparklers like wands. Jack manned the grill, apron smeared, laughing at Dave from down the street's dad jokes. Abs, babe, another round? I nodded, lime in my Corona fizzing sharp, but my phone buzzed insistent. Unknown number. Voicemail. Evelyn's voice, frail, accented with Florida drawl. Abigail, please, just talk. For Jack. Heart stutter. Delete. Or. I called back, pulse thundering, stepping into the powder room. Door clicked shut against fireworks pop. She picked up second ring. Darling. Don't. My whisper fierce. What do you want? A cough. Wet, ragged. The book. It's not what you think. Therapy. They said. Right to heal. But it's lies, all of it. I can't. I need to fix this. Fix. The word hung, loaded. Too late. You threatened my kid. Silence. Then sob. Real. Wrenching. Desperation. I was cornered. Losing everything. Jack hates me. He should. But softness crept, traitor trait. Not forgiveness, curiosity. The antagonist unmasked. Human after all. Meet me, she pleaded. Neutral. Coffee in Stanford. 1 hour. I hung up, staring at my reflection, eyes wild, cheeks flushed. Tell Jack? No, same mistake. I slipped out, murmured to him, errand. Back soon. Pecked his cheeks salty with sweat. The cafe was artsy, exposed brick and pour-overs, ironic haven for our showdown. Evelyn waited in a booth, diminished, hair gray-streaked, no makeup, house dress instead of Chanel. Cancer, she said when I sat, sliding over a PET scan printout. Stage 3, pancreatic. 6 months, maybe. The world tilted. Villain to victim, her masterstroke? Or truth, ugly and unsparing? Why tell me? I asked, coffee untouched. Because you won. Exposed me. Now, the truth, all of it. She leaned in, voice threadbare. The crash? Not just protection. Jack's dad, Richard, he was leaving me. For her secretary. The scandal would have bankrupted us. I needed Jack clean, the golden boy, to keep the firm, the life. Layer peeled. Not just maternal, but marital armor. And Sarah? Collateral. Poor girl. But I thought. She'd move on. Like I did. We talked. Hours bleeding. Her confessions spilling like bad vintage. Affairs she'd buried. Donations as bribes. The cake sabotage a petty lash-out after a chemo consult. I hated you, she admitted, eyes wet. Independent. Real. Everything I wasn't. Pity stirred, unwelcome. And the PI? Lily. Bluff. Last gasp. She pushed an envelope across. Will revisions, assets to Jack, caveats for reconciliation. I left dazed, envelope burning in my purse, fireworks distant booms. Home. Jack on the porch, buzzed and beaming. Where to? Lie. I said, sitting beside him, head on shoulder. Evelyn. His body tensed, beer bottle clinking rail. What the? She's dying. Told me everything. Words tumbled. The cancer, the will, Richard's ghost. He pulled away, face storm-dark. And you went? Alone? After all. I had to know. Defensive, sharp. For closure. Or whatever this is. Closure. He stood, pacing flagstone. She poisoned us, abs. Lied. Threatened. Now a deathbed pass? Fuck that. The argument reignited old fires, voices carrying to sleeping neighbors. You're soft for her, he accused. The woman who broke me. And you're blind. I shot back. She's human. Broken too. Doesn't erase the hurt. But what? We forgive. Invite her to Thanksgiving. Sarcasm dripped, but hurt underpinned. No. But. The will. It's yours. We could. Money? That's your closure? He laughed hollow. I don't want her blood money. I want her gone. He stormed inside, doors slamming echoey. I sat alone, stars mocking, envelope heavy. Dawn brought truce, coffee black, apologies mumbled. I get it, he sighed. Curiosity. But next time? Together. Not. But the debate festered. Mercy or masochism? I blogged veiled. When the monster coughs, forgiveness or folly? Comments exploding, readers picking sides. Let her rot, versus compassion heals. Fall deepened, leaves crunching under tires as I drove to Palm Beach. Jax, go if you must, but I'm out ringing. Evelyn's condo. Seashell wind chimes, hospice scent cloying. She was bedbound, gaunt, morphine drowsy. You came, smile faint. For answers, I sat, holding her hand, bony, cold. Why the book? The lies. Legacy. Whisper. Control the narrative. But it's dust. Jack, tell him I'm sorry. I will. Lie, truth, and the rest. She nodded to nightstand drawer. Letters. For him. Lily. You. I took them, seals unbroken, and left as rain lashed palms. Back north, handed Jack his. He burned it in the fire pit, flames devouring words unsaid. Not ready, he muttered. Mine. I read alone, kitchen lamplight yellow. Evelyn's script, loopy from pain. Regrets stacked like indictments. For the crash, the cake, the years stolen. You were right, Abigail. I sabotaged more than a birthday. I sabotaged love. Forgive? No. Understand? Maybe. Tears hit paper, ink blooming. Understand. The word unlocked something, not absolution, but release. I filed the will away, assets untouched, let her fade quiet. Winter brought the call. Evelyn gone, ashes scattered per will, Atlantic, where secrets drown. Obituary polite, scandal scrubbed. Jack mourned silent, a nod to the boy she'd birthed, not the monster she'd become. Us. Stronger, scarred. Blog boomed into book deal. Exposed. A daughter-in-law's reckoning. NYC launch packed. Jack toasting to truths that set us free. Lily asked once, Grandma in heaven? We said yes, soft lie for small ears. But the twist? Sarah's exhibit opening. Her Phoenix series sold out. One Piece, Sabotage, gifted us. Cake shards were forming into wings. For the win, she toasted, but her eyes held hunger. Evelyn's estate? Any loose ends? I smiled, evasive. The will's caveats? Buried deep, a final flip, clause tying inheritance to family unity. Vague enough for lawsuit 2.0 if Sarah pushed. I let it lie. Or did I? Envelope and safe, just in case. Revenge's end? Or circle eternal? Readers argue in reviews. Jack and I, over wine, laugh dark. In America's gray zones, no one's fully right. That's the hook, the haunt. And damn if it doesn't make the story sing. Spring thawed the ice in our bones, but grief's a stubborn weed, sprouting in cracks you thought sealed. Jack threw a memorial barbecue, not for Evelyn, exactly, but for the boy she'd buried under her blueprints. Backyard alive with firefighters and bookstore buddies, ribs slow-smoked, playlist heavy on Springsteen, Thunder Road, that anthem of escape we belted post-fight. Lily chased cousins through sprinklers, her giggles a balm, while I manned the cooler, doling IPAs and iced teas, playing host like armor. Jack caught my eye across the smoke haze, lifting his bottle in salute. Doing okay? He'd asked that morning, bed tangled, his fingers tracing my hip bone. Better. Truth, mostly. The letters sat in a box under our bed. His ashes, her words. untouched since the burn. But the blog? It evolved, reader letters stacking like confessions. Maya Mile hid my husband's addiction. She faked a will to cut me out. I replied personal, building a sisterhood of the screwed, monetizing with merch. Mugs etched spill the tea, not the cake. Sarah's orbit pulled closer. She crashed a meetup in NYC. Blue hair now streaked purple, portfolio underarm. Touring galleries, she explained over greasy diner fries. Your book's buzz got me noticed. Her eyes flicked to my phone. Always buzzing. Notifications from the publisher. Evelyn's estate settled? I shrugged, ketchup packet bursting. Jack won't touch it. Charity, maybe. She leaned in, voice low. Smart. But that clause, Unity? It's a trapdoor. She flipped it on you, post-mortem. Sue to void, or it defaults to her cronies. The itch returned, that dark thrill of the hunt. Why push? You got your payout. Her laugh, sharp. Because bitches like her? They breed. And I'm not letting her win from the grave. She slid a card. Her lawyer, Cali-based, pro bono for Sisters in Arms. Home that night. I'm molded over bathwater steaming, bubbles popping like doubts. Jack found me prune-fingered, towel-dried. Sarah? He guessed, sitting tub edge. Yeah, the will. It's complicated. He sighed, running water, ripples spreading. Complicated how? Mom's gone. Let it go, abs. But if we don't claim, it goes to her foundation, that tax dodge for her golf buddies. I sat up, water sloshing. We could redirect. Crash victims, women's shelters. Turn poison to purpose. His jaw tightened, the firefighter resolve flickering. Using her money? Feels like chains. Or freedom. I touched his knee, wet handprint blooming. Your call. Always was. He stared at the faucet drip, minutes stretching, then, talked to the lawyer. But clean. No more secrets. Relief flooded, warm as the bath. We decided together, petitioned to contest the clause, arguing duress from her manipulative history. Court again, but lighter. No spectacle, just paperwork and a sympathetic judge who nodded at the podcast transcripts. Unconscionable conditions, she ruled, voiding the strings. Funds dispersed. Half to Sarah's art fund, quarter to victim aid. Rest split for Lily's future and our rainy day rebuild. A down payment on a cabin upstate, Adirondacks quiet. Summer swelled triumphant. Cabin christening with S-morays and stargazing. Lily naming the dock, Truth Pier. Jack proposed a redo, birthday bash, no Evelyn orbit. I baked the cake, vanilla sponge risen perfect, Lily piping roses steadier. Guests crammed the yard. Dave with his cornhole set, Sarah surprising with a canvas. For the baker who burned it down. Depicting flames licking frosting, rebirth and char. As candles glowed, Jack's arm around me. I felt it. The hook releasing, tension uncoiling. But America doesn't do tidy. Controversy simmers. Evelyn's book? It tanked post-ruling, ghostwriter bailing amid ethical concerns. Whispers of a sequel, exposed, the lies they told. But her estate lawyers squashed it, probate drama fodder for true crime subs. Then the mailer. Unmarked, manila envelope postmarked Darien. Inside, photos, faded Polaroids from the 80s. Evelyn Young, radiant, arm around a baby Jack in a high chair, cake smeared on his chubby cheeks. Back, her script, first birthday. I vowed to protect him always. Forgive the monster I became. Jack found me staring at the kitchen table, images splayed like tarot. What's this? Her. I handed one over, his fingers trembling on the edge. Sent anonymous. Postscript from beyond. He studied it long, thumbs smudging emulsion. Then, she was scared. Of losing everything. Not absolution, acknowledgement. Doesn't excuse. But, explains. We frame none, but tuck them in the box. History, not haunting. Therapy shifted. Less rage, more roots. Dr. Ramirez praised. You're authoring your narrative now. Fall brought harvest. Book tour wrap. Signings in indie shops from Seattle to Savannah. Fans hugging with, you gave me courage. One night, post-reading in Boston, a woman approached. Margot, Aunt Margot, pearls subdued, eyes red-rimmed. Abigail, hesitant handshake. I finished your book. Evelyn would have hated it. And loved it. I nodded, bar noise humming. Tea. Over chamomile, she spilled. Evelyn's final days, confessions looped on morphine. She said you were the daughter she wished she'd been. Brave. Throat tight. Too late for that. Maybe. Margot sipped, steam curling. But the money? It's helping. I saw the grants, Sarah's school, the shelters. She'd be proud. Or pissed. Probably both. Laughter escaped, cathartic. We parted ambiguous. No hugs, but a number exchanged. For Lily, she said. Cousin stuff. Winter closed the circle. Christmas at the cabin, tree strung with popcorn and heirloom ornaments. None Evelyn's, but a star Lily crafted, foil crinkled. Jack and I on the porch swing, breath fogging, his head on my shoulder. Think she'd approve? He murmured, meaning the life, the loot, the letting go. Who, Evelyn? I squeezed his hand, calluses familiar. Hell no, but that's the point. New Year's dawned crisp, resolutions whispered. More road trips, less revenge plots. Blog rebranded, reclaimed, life after the lie, focus on forward. Sarah visited, canvas in tow, group portrait. Us four, cake intact, wings unfurled. The end, she toasted, but winked. Or sequel bait. The real twist? Months later, a DNA test. Lily's school project, curiosity kit. Results pinged. 23andMe match, distant. Evelyn's half-sister, unknown, emailing tentative. Family secrets run deep. Coffee. Jack laughed when I showed him. Another plot twist? Pass. I did for now. But the file's saved, just in case. Because in our story, dark, tense, unapologetically American, closure's a myth. Betrayals echo, revenges evolve, and the debate? Eternal. Who's right? The betrayed who strikes, the betrayer who breaks, the bystanders picking sides? Me? I choose the cake, baked fresh, shared messy. No sabotage, just sweet. And if the shadows stir? Well, I've got the photos. And the will to fight. But here's the gut punch finale. That last photo, the one I kept hidden? Not Evelyn's baby Jack. Backside faint. Abigail, age 2. Mom's first cake disaster. We laughed. Be that for Lily. How? Stolen from my queen's attic years back, during a visit. Her flip ultimate. Thief of joys, mirror to my own buried flaws. I burned it alone, ashes to wind. But the lesson stuck. Monsters mirror us. Forgiveness? Nah. But understanding? That's the controversial grace, the dark heart of it all. We thrive anyway. Because revenge isn't the end, it's the spark. And damn, what a fire.